Nice mouth sounds.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
That's the intro.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chip Line Podcast. How are you, Hudson?
Tired. I was just saying I got 3 hours sleep. So if I fall asleep, it's not my fault. And it's also not the first time I've fallen asleep on a podcast.
Amazing.
Have you actually?
I fall.
Whose podcast did you fall asleep on?
I pretty much fell asleep on Tom's podcast. It's like, I feel like it's
so rude.
Yeah, and it was actually a really good story. So I feel really bad, but it was like the one where I don't visibly.
Do we have a clip of that? Of you falling asleep on it?
Oh, we probably would call your mum on the podcast.
Cool.
Hi, Mum. I'm at church recording something. What's up? Are you sure? Okay, bye. That was the call, guys.
That was epic.
Anyway, like I didn't, like my eyes weren't closed, but I kind of looked tired and I just zoned out and I was like, and then I'm pretty sure Joel was like, because I hadn't talked to her, he's like trying to get me involved, like said like, oh, do you want to ask a question? I was like,
That woke you
I've
up?
just been like, yeah. So
Did you just make something up?
I think I was like, nope, no, I'm good.
Nice.
No questions here.
That's good.
Amazing. The so if you've heard Lewis's voice before, you would know that we are joined by Lewis. Hello, Lewis.
Hi.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is round 3, I think.
4, I believe.
Round 4.
Yeah, I don't know why you
Excellent.
keep asking me back.
I think you've got a lot to say. This is
okay.
excellent. And I didn't ask you. Joel did.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
No, I think this is really awesome. Lewis, we all know how you eat your chips. Is there anything different?
What did I say last time? I don't remember.
That's really great. I don't remember either.
Well, plain salt or chicken salt is the usual debate.
But is there like a fancy way that you have?
No,
Because I feel like you'd be fancy.
no, not really. I mean, typically if I'm buying hot chips, I would get chicken salt.
Nice.
But like generally, if I'm making chips at home, if I'm eating chips at a place, it would be with salt. But
Normal
like
salt?
chicken and chips, fish and chip shop chips is chicken salt.
Okay, cool.
That's fair.
Otherwise, it's salt.
That's the biggest like on the fence kind of thing ever.
Well, it's I don't know. It's just sort of like it's like junk food. Like people are like, oh, I don't like junk food, and it's like, yeah, you'd rather nice food, but you do eat junk food sometimes.
You know, that's fair.
Like
That's
you're
fair.
like sometimes you're in a mood for junk food, and you get junk
When in
food.
Rome, you eat
When
junk
in
food.
Rome.
When in Rome. That's true. That is very legit. So we've heard your story over and over again in different ways. No,
I'm about to tell it again.
Not like that. Yeah, for those who haven't heard, do you have like a speedy version?
Sure.
Can you hit us with a speedy version?
Yeah, I could. Is it funnier though if you tell it? Because I feel like you,
Oh,
because you were pretty much the instigator
yeah. Okay,
and most consistent cast member of the whole
sure.
thing.
All right.
I think that would be funny.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that.
And I'll put you on the spot.
So Lewis and I went to high school together. I reckon we did you join our group in like year 8?
No, you're 7.
Year 7? Okay. So from
Yeah.
the get-go.
I didn't get to know you immediately though.
No. Well, we didn't share any classes,
No.
and our group was weird because it was kind of made up of multiple groups.
Sure.
And there was all the Grace Point crew, and there was everyone else that we kind of collected along the way.
Yeah.
So we're friends since year 7, and Lewis is a atheist at this point, and a self-proclaimed one at that. Loved all the not new age. What was the new atheism stuff? Who were the main characters that you would quote all the time?
I don't know.
You quoted all of them though.
And
Yeah,
Dawkins,
Dawkins, all the things. You quoted them all, and we had many a robust conversation, particularly post year 9, which is when you started coming to youth group, because that's when we started youth group.
Yeah.
So we started the youth group when I was in year 9, and I invited all my mates, and Lewis was one of those mates who, despite
Was it?
not being a Christian,
When I first came, because I feel like I came to
Did you come later?
Guy Mere at
Did you?
least once or twice.
do you reckon you went to Gaimir?
I distinctly remember it happening once or twice.
Sick. Okay, well there you go.
I think I was just on the cusp.
Yeah, that checks out. So we were going to youth there in year 7 and 8, and then
Might have
we
been
started
late
as
year eight
Soul
that
Revival
decided.
Church. Yeah, maybe late year 8. And then when we started as Soul Revival Church, you started coming along to Soul Revival Youth,
Yeah.
which was sick, and that was really fun. And I distinctly remember your like deep atheistic convictions, and those deep conversations that you would have, whether it would be me or whether it be with the leaders. I reckon we had the predestination conversation over those years, maybe 50 times.
Sorry.
It was fine. It was great. It means that I can now talk about it quite well. My fondest memory, just to fast forward a bit, we're a few years out of high school. You have started, I think it's post or during COVID, you started reading.
Yeah. Maybe in the lead up.
In the lead up to
lockdown.
COVID? Yeah, in the lead up to lockdown? Okay.
It was all instigated by Matt's house burning down and
Yes.
stuff.
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think
So
was pre-COVID.
you're right. It wasn't COVID. It was the bushfires that happened right before that. We have a mate called Matt. He moves down the coast, but we want to keep in contact with Matt. And as his house burns down, he starts reading. And over Discord, him and Lewis started reading and having like a little book club.
Well, he always read. He just like roped me in.
Absolutely.
I think he guilt tripped me.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
It's like, Lewis, my house burnt down. You have to read with me. I was like, okay.
So you read a book with Matt, and then you guys go, oh, let's read Silence by
Yeah, I instigated silence.
What's his name?
Shusaku Endo.
And so that's a Portuguese Catholic missionary in Japan is the premise of that book.
Yeah, I'd watched the movie and I wanted to read it.
Yeah, sick.
And then you hopped in.
Well, and then you went, oh, Ethan's a Christian, so he'll have stuff to say about that book because it's all about Christianity getting into Japan. And so you invited me into that, and that was sick. And we talked about that, and we had heaps of conversations in that amount of time. And then you guys were both like, oh, Ethan, what should we read next? Like, should we read some, like, you guys were like, oh, all that Christianity stuff's interesting. What should we read? And I was like, well, we should, I don't know. And I knew that Mere Christianity was really good by C.S. Lewis. So we did that as our next book club. And I think that plays a pretty major part in your thinking about Christian stuff. I don't think you necessarily became a Christian straight out of that.
We actually did a whole timeline of this on, I should have brought it actually. We were on Discord, Matt, Jack and I, and like we were debating about like what the exact timeline was. And so we actually were like going through group chats and Discord servers and like looking at particular messages and dating. Well, it's like, okay, like Lewis talks about Mere Christianity in this month, but prior to this, he's not reading. And so like, and Matt's house burns down here. So yeah, we actually had a pretty good timeline.
Awesome.
Like I reckon we placed it within like 6 months of the actual event.
Do you have a visual of it?
I think my converting elapsed not even or maybe just over 6 months. After the reading of Mere Christianity. But I wouldn't like attribute it solely to that book.
No,
Like
whereas I think Matt does. Would he attribute his conversion to that?
No, I think like for both of us, it was the needle that broke the camel's back kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
okay,
it was, but then if we had read that in isolation, it would not have.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
It was just, it came at a significant time, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, sick. So we read that book together, and then one of the biggest moments for me. So I have two memories that were a big deal in the 6 months that followed that. Is I had my P's and you didn't, and I would drive you home from Bible study, which was something you had been attending for ages, and I would drive you home from Bible study, and we would have
that was fairly new as well.
Bible study.
I think so.
Yeah, I know it's new because what used to happen was that you guys would every Halloween go to Macca's.
Or after.
Well, what happened was, and it just kept landing on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And you came and picked me up from Bible study one year. And then the year after, we all left after Bible study.
Yeah, I don't think I was going to Jared and Haley's Bible study for even like maybe over a year, but I feel like not even a year.
No.
Like I started going around the time that I was seriously considering stuff.
Yeah. And what you would do is you would sit completely silently on your phone listening, but like playing games while we all talked about the Bible for a bit. And then we would get to the end and then you would hang out and chat. But then we would drive home and then you'd ask me a question at your door or something like that.
It's usually, yeah.
And then we'd talk for another 2 hours. And so I spent a lot of Tuesday nights going to bed really late, which was sick fun. But one of the biggest moments for me was we got there and you were like, we got to your place and you were like, I think I've figured out this predestination stuff. And then you proceeded to like tell me stuff that I'd been talking with you about for 7 years. And I just sat there like, oh, that's really cool, Lewis. That's so, I'm so glad you were able to figure that out, man. That's so cool. And in my head, I'm like, I've been saying this for years. What are you doing? But it was really cool. Like that was like, to this day, you are probably, for me, one of these big examples in my life of how the Spirit reveals stuff to people. Because I'm like, oh, you obviously just couldn't get it for a long time. And then nothing about your answer was different to what I had said or what Jared had said or what Greaves had said in the years leading up, but you just understood it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then maybe not even a month after that, we're on Schoolies. It's
true.
It's your sister Hudson. It's Ashley's Schoolies, and we're picking fruit at the start of that Schoolies. And do you know what year Ashley finished? Was
Through,
it
2020.
Yeah. So it was the end of 2020.
Makes sense.
And I get a phone call from you being like, oh, I think
Quite late,
as in the night.
wasn't it?
Well, I think you messaged me at the start of the day, or like it was a voice message or something being like, oh, I'm thinking about it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then by the end of the night, you had been like, yeah, I'm a Christian.
Then
now.
I think I sent you a voice. I tried to call you and I left you a voice message, I think.
Yeah. And then you were like, don't tell anyone, but I had been sitting next to Jared. and so I had immediately told Jared before I got to the don't tell anyone bit.
Dude, when I got to church that Saturday, I think like 5 people came up to me. I was like, you dog.
Sorry, I was excited. Is that, and so yeah, that's my outward look is just someone who was really, 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 really not a Christian and then interested for years and years and years. And, or not even years, like not interested for a long time and then interested for like.
Depends what you mean by interested.
That's true.
It was adjacent. I mean, I was at church, I was grilling and asking questions.
Yeah.
But
not all of that was out of interest. Some of it was out of, I just want to.
Yeah, I think there
wrong.
was an interest. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be
That's true.
asking about it at all. And I was thinking about stuff at the time, but yeah, it wasn't like Christianity itself held my interest. It was like I was thinking just about the world and whatever. And I just happened to have a lot of Christian friends. Yeah. So I would ask you questions. And
So we had something to talk about in that space. I think even before you were Christian, one of the things that I really thought was really cool was what birthday was it? Were you your 16th?
Oh, my dad's house?
No, the one, I think it was, maybe it was at your
In
dad's
Mortdale.
place. The one that Jared was invited to.
Jared, Dan Gale, I think Greaves came.
Was that your 16th?
Probably.
Yeah, I just went to this birthday party of yours and you were not a Christian, but you were actually genuinely friends with the youth leaders. And so you had invited them to your birthday party. And I distinctly remember that being like, oh, this is really cool. Like that Lewis isn't a Christian, but there is something happening here from a relational perspective that Lewis gets. And so I saw that you got that side of things real early. But I just don't think you had the why yet.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yeah, I think like a lot of boys our age at the time, like you're just completely inundated in a culture of like, you're just tipping crap on each other constantly. Like always, like you're always
absolutely
on edge, always ready to defend yourself and quip and put someone else down. And it's like every word is like just swearing and vile talk and talking crap. And yeah, to go to church and to not only find people my age treating me nicely, but then to have adults treating me nicely too, was really weird because I feel like I have a lot of memories growing up in high school of just having, school and having older kids sort of like be like, ugh, like kid, I don't want to hang out with you. Ugh.
Yeah, cool.
Have a very acute memory of being at after school care in primary school, and they were playing Worms on the PlayStation 1.
Oh,
and
banger.
So goated.
That's so good.
And I wanted to play with them, but they were like, they must have been in year 6 and I must have been like year 2 or 3. And they were like, no, like you're a kid. Like this is for the big kids. And I was like, oh. But yeah. And so I feel like that sort of painted a lot of my perceptions of like hanging out with people of different ages. It's like, yeah, old people don't want to hang out with kids. They're yucky and annoying. And then as I grew older, I felt that too. I'm like, oh, I don't want to hang out with kids. Like they're annoying. And I just became, that. Yeah, come church though, there's like all these people in the, I guess all the youth leaders at the time would have been in their 20s. I don't think any of them were older. I guess like your dad Stu was there.
Yep.
Who would have been in his 40s? Question mark.
Yeah. I'd say so. So a lot of the youth leaders were about 10 years older than us, 10 and a bit.
Yeah.
And dad was what? He's 30 years older than us.
Yeah. So he would have been 46, let's say.
Yeah.
At the time. But yeah. And it was funny, like we actually went to a baseball game last night, and I invited a friend from outside of church, and I invited just like a bunch of people from my circles at church. And so this friend of mine's 26 years old, so a year younger than me. And they like found it so bizarre that in this group of people I invited, I think the youngest person was 23. I don't know how old my friend Jeff is. I think I want to say late 40s.
Has Jeff been on the podcast?
No.
Jeff. Who's Jeff?
You know that movie, My Name is Jeff. You know that one.
No, I'm generally trying to. Surely I know. We're derailed already.
Schaefer.
Yeah.
I figured out his last name.
I feel like I know the face. Very bad with names, but if I saw a face,
Tall
I'd know.
American guy. It's not Elliot.
It's not
Oh.
tall American, not Elliot.
So an American version of Elliot.
What?
No, what?
Have you ever spoken to Elliot?
Isn't Elliot Australian?
Well, no,
Bro.
he's American.
Is he?
Have you heard him speak?
Yeah, that's
You
true.
need to talk to Elliot.
Yeah, but I thought that was just army talk.
As soon as you join the army, you get an American accent.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Top Gun vibe.
But yeah, and they were just very like surprised by this. And I invited a bunch of non-Christian mates and my Bible study to like a birthday thing recently, and the ages in the Bible study range from like 18 again to like mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
And so it's just this weird thing of like, why are there old people and young people here? It's so weird. And I was talking to Dan Tate, who was there, and we were just like, yeah, we're just used to it. It's just how church has always been. Like, yeah, it's just, yeah. And I think I was really attracted to that at the time because I was treated as an equal. Because when I feel like something I've learned, I think, from being a part of this church is that I think it's so bad for a person to just hang out in isolation with people only of their age and perspective. I feel like it severely chokeholds your ability to like grow and learn. But that's just the way of the world, I think. Like you go to school, you hang out with your cohort, you go to uni, hang out with your cohort, and then you go to work and you find people in a similar stage of life to you.
Yep.
Really, yeah. Like, I think it keeps you immature. I think, if I could be so bold as to say that. And it sounds ironic that hanging out with people younger than you would accelerate the process of, maturing. But yeah, I think like when you're just with your people, you just keep living life the same way and it's comfortable and it's self-serving. But as soon as you start taking care of younger people in like a church context or just being in relationship with younger people, but then also being mentored by and taken care of by older people, I feel like it really just gives you perspective and puts you in place, I suppose. And I feel like I matured rapidly. Maybe not rapidly, that's probably too generous. But I matured at all through my time at church. And when I was at school, like, I don't think I was making any strides in terms of like character or perspective. I was just stuck. But it was, like hanging out with people like your dad in their 40s or younger people at youth. Even at church, like went to Weekaway and like Atticus Redmond started talking to me, who must have been like, how old is he now?
He's in year 7.
He's in year 7 now, yeah.
Gosh, so he would have been like single digits when he talked to me as a teenager.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't talk to kids. This is weird. But like, it just happened. And I was like, So.
Hado, you're a bit younger than us. Do you have similar reflections on being in church? Do you think it's like, do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. Looking at like my friend group outside church, in terms of I don't think they would have nearly as much of a broad scope of people they regularly speak to. I think when I was younger, I didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable and just not my vibe.
Being around different
ages, and I think particularly older. Younger was fine because it was like, I guess, power. No, it was like, I don't know, it was difficult to talk to older people, and there's a scariness towards it. But later on, in the past couple of years, it's been really beneficial to like reflect on, although like it didn't feel good at the time, that it was like building up to a proper relationship, and it's great having that, the different perspectives from both younger and older. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. So you're 20?
Yep.
We're 27. Thank you. Vinny's behind the camera. You're 15? Yes. Vinny's 15. It's just cool to like. I think there's a shout out to Vinny who's on work experience. It's a testament to. Like I reckon we do it particularly well at Soli's, but I think there's something that churches in general create, this vibe of like at least the older person thing. Like I don't know what context I would have been that would have hung out with older people other than church.
Family.
Yeah. But
it's kind of different, isn't it?
It is. Well, you get chucked to the kids' table, right?
Well, yeah, that's also true.
I think also in terms of older and younger people together on the same level, rather than I think other contexts where you would.
That's true.
Where there would be older and younger people in the same room, there's a power imbalance of like.
Well, there's a reason, it's like your teacher.
It's something like that. So there's not where we're just hanging out. There's no real. I'm here because I need to teach this thing or something like that.
And there is a crazy like equalizer effect where like I've noticed at church heaps, because there's heaps of teachers at our church where like people from schools go to church and it's like, oh, my science or my dance or my drama teacher's here. Yep. And it just becomes this thing of like, oh, they just like sit at a table and eat dinner and just hang out, which is so like seemingly strange and bizarre.
Absolutely.
Because at school, it'd be like, oh, hi, miss, hey, sir. Like, and then you walk past.
And then walk past. Yep.
But then you get to church and it's like, Chris Pinn's just like hanging out with like Micaiah and Tobias and stuff. And they're all like his students at school. And it's just like this lovely, like they don't treat him as this weird old guy to shun and keep away from. And like, he's not, too high and mighty to be like, oh, I hang out with kids. Like, it's just cool. Like at church, like you just, I guess, like you said, Hudson, it's the reason you're there. And at church, you go there to be at church, right? Like at church, there's no teacher, boss, etc.
Yeah,
like you're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, like, if a 5-year-old confesses faith, then like they are your brother or sister, just as much as the 80-year-old who confesses faith. Like, it's just sick. You get to hang out with your grandparents at church too. So like,
so good.
Age range is like literally life, like all of life. It's crazy. I feel like there's no other modern context in which you can actually get that.
Yeah, particularly as a high schooler, like I think there might, like as you go into the workforce, some jobs throw you in amongst a whole bunch of ages, but you're right, Hutto, this equalizer thing. Because if you're a teacher, you hang out with teenagers, but you don't really like.
It's a professional context.
Yeah,
like they're not your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or your brothers and sisters. They're just your students, your employee or something like.
Yeah, but being able to do that in a really safe context is really awesome. I think it's really cool. How much do you reckon that contributed to your becoming a Christian?
Oh, probably massively. Like I mentioned before, I feel like if you hang out with just people your age, especially when you're young, it probably is less extreme, I guess, or polarizing the older you get. Yeah. Like there's a much smaller difference between a 40 and a 50-year-old than a 15 and a 40-year-old, to say. Yeah. And I think I found like not to discredit like anything like you did at the time, but like, you know, when we're in high school, when we're young, we only know as much as we know. We only have as much experience as we know. And so even though I was talking to people like you, you were probably the only real Christian presence at the time, I'd say, probably. I mean, like all the boys went to church, but I don't think they had found faith quite the same way yet as you had. Yeah. So it was primarily you.
A lot of the ones that were Christians got it a bit more as they got older.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, you were always the one that were like, you wanted to have the talks and stuff, and like, and I think when you're a similar age, you have similar experience, you're stuck. I guess you sort of limit the range of conversation or the insight that you can give.
Absolutely.
And so when I talk to like Jared or Stu, who has like a lifetime, literally double my life
100%
worth of knowledge and experience, like and it's like what I experience now at youth group. Like when a kid is like, oh, like how do you make sense of the problem of pain or predestination or the Trinity, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's not like I'm their age and haven't figured it out. Like I've had those conversations and I've done not my time. I've been at church. I've read stuff and I've learned stuff, and it's like, oh, well, I can speak into your questions now in a way that like you obviously can't when you're inexperienced. And so, to have the, I guess like the pastoral experience, but also just the theological knowledge of older people was massive. But I think like to come back to your point, like that anecdote of like me being in the car with you and just repeating back to you everything I'd said to you. Yeah. Like, I think you're right. Like you kind of, you gave me the answers, right? And I seemingly knew the answers. But as you reflected, there's something that you don't have control over in someone, which is like their response to the answers, right? I forget where it is. I'm pretty sure it's Paul in Corinthians says that like in reference to his preaching, that to some it is the fragrance of flowers and to others the stench of death. So it's like, doesn't matter like how, profound or intelligent you are. Like you just tell someone the gospel, and to some people it's like, get me to water now, I must be baptized. And to others it's like, you could have not Richard Dawkins, Lennox, what's his name? John Lennox? John Lennox. You had John Lennox, explain everything to them. I don't know why I picked him. And 40 years later, they still wouldn't. Yeah. And that's like the heart condition, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that makes sense, right? Like I think the reason we find that a bit abstract is because we often think that Christianity is like a system or a philosophy or an argument to convince someone of. But really, like at the end of the day, the gospel, what you're selling, so to speak, is a person, Jesus, is offering you something. Like that's the bottom line. It's a person, and you can be in relationship and accept him or not. Like that's actually the bottom line. Yeah, absolutely. And at the time I was very bitter and would pretty openly, I think, confess that I hate God and hate the person I found in the Bible, and that I didn't want him to be real. But yeah, as the older I got and as more experiences sort of occurred and we began reading and discussing these things together, there came a point. I told some young people this recently when I was giving them the overview confession. There came a point where I distinctly thought, I'm still an atheist, but I hope Jesus is real. Yeah, and I think that was a turning point where I like went from being skeptical, resistant, and hateful to like interested, hopeful. I think that was massive, and no amount of knowledge or learned people speaking into my life would have changed it. Actually, what spoke into my life were the people at church taking care of me and being my friend, because that was the practical demonstration of who God actually is. Yeah, I think
it's really cool. Any thoughts, today?
The first thought that came into my mind was thinking of one of my friend who's a non-Christian, their reaction to kind of the same vibe that Lewis got at with you. kind of gone through youth group, been to late night a bit, and has said on multiple occasions that he's an atheist. But he does say that he wishes there was more Christians in the world, and he sees it more as like a moral thing, that there's morally there's a lot of right that Christianity can do, and that it helps a lot of people. It's not for him though, but there's a he still sees the like the goodness that comes out of it, which I think is interesting at cross-referencing it with what you've just said, the kind of difference in perspective.
It's kind of contagious, right? Like, it's so unusual. Again, like, you know, to come back to the perspective of like a young man or a teenager, to enter into a community where like you can be in a group of 10 guys and none of them are talking about the person they had sex with at the party yesterday and describing them in really disgusting ways, or like paying you out, or like just to be like, oh, I can actually just like be here and no one roasts me and stuff. Like, it's so strange. I think what was particularly striking for me in that regard was that like I was a pretty abrasive young person, fairly unapologetic in my demeanor. And so like I'd go to church and I would speak the way I would want to speak, which involved a lot of slurring and
there
swearing.
was no filter because you were in the building.
No, it was like, I just turned up to church and I'm like, I do what I want here, and if you do or don't like me, that was just whatever. Yeah. But everyone, you know, I think tolerated me, but genuinely loved me as well. And I would bring friends along who were like, I guess you would say like, what people, you know, people have an idea of what church is. It's, you know, it's like pretty got together families dressed in their Sunday best. Yeah. But you know, I hung out with sort of fairly derelict, sort of strange people, and was one of them. And was delighted to find that I brought them along, and strangely enough, like the reception was better at church than just like my other friends. Like, not only did they accept them, but they actually made an effort to talk to them and stuff and incorporate them. And it just sort of kept surprising me. I'm like, oh, this is not what I thought would be the case, but it is. And just little by little, all these things piled up, and I was like, it's so good here. Like, the people are just happier. They're nicer to me. There's community. Like, they're not just like, my circle is just like these desperately depressed, lost people getting smashed every second day. And like, that was it. Like, that's all we thought life was. And then go to church and it's like, oh, no, it's not. Like, they didn't seem to think so.
Yeah, look at all these people who are functioning and enjoying themselves, but not living like that, which is the way to live.
And it was so alien to me. Like, and even in a family context, like, there's pretty much almost every person in my family is like divorced, right? And so to go to church and again to see like happy, got together families where like, because my parents split when I was 1, and so pretty much every single one of my aunties and uncles were either unmarried, had divorces, or were in relationships that failed and didn't reach marriage. So again, it was just sort of like, oh, like, it's possible, it's real. Like, it's not just a sham. Like, it's
That's really cool. How do you reckon so you become a Christian and then you stay in that space, like in that space that is so different and so foreign. How much do you think, or how important do you think relationship was for you being discipled? Like, I'm just trying to get at whatever the next step is, because it was all really important to becoming a Christian, but as you were discipled as a Christian, like, what was that like?
As a Christian,
what was that like doing church with all these different people for your faith as it began and grew?
It's so broad.
It is really broad.
I think like the first ministry I went into was youth leading, because ever since I finished up at youth group, I wanted to be a youth leader because I didn't want to leave youth group. But they were like, you have to be a Christian to be a youth leader. And I was like, oh. That was the real reason I became a Christian, was to become a youth leader.
Yeah. I remember that night, what was it? It was like we brought you into the meeting.
A meeting.
And we're like, oh, Lewis has an announcement for everybody. Hoping that you would say, I'm a Christian. But that was not the announcement. Like, what you were like, oh, I'm a youth leader, guys. That was so good.
It was pretty funny. One of my better moments for sure. I think like the delightful thing about being in youth as a Christian early on was that it, like to be a Christian is to serve at church. There's no, regardless of how individuals might perceive faith or how they lead their faith, like the biblical account is like, if you're a Christian, you are part of the body of Christ. You do serve in the church. You are gifted for the church, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's no, if you want to go to church, you have gifts and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you want to be a part of the church, you know, sign this form after baptism. It's like, no, you're the church. Go to church. You have brothers and sisters. You have gifts to serve. And so, yeah, I guess that was very helpful in my faith because it was like a dimension of faith that I could not have explored or thought about. You know, I was purely in the realm of like just abstract thought and do I want to become a Christian? Yeah. And then it was sort of like, well, okay, you're a Christian. Time to live as a Christian, I suppose. Yeah. And so I went from this personal like thing I can just sort of think about and do in my own time to like I must represent the faith and Jesus to people. I'm in a community, like I am visible. My actions do matter. Like I'm not above reproach either. It's another thing too, like when you're a non-Christian, like your Christian friends presumably don't appeal to you on like you're living the way that a Christian does to a Christian. You know, like when my non-Christian friend swears at church, I'm like, bro, like Paul says to use your language to love one another. Yeah. Because they're like, well, I don't care. But as a Christian, you do. Yeah. Because you obviously believe in the Bible.
You hold each other to account.
Yeah.
You can't really do with a non-Christian.
Yeah. And so like, you know, when I was at church and or at Bible study and I was being rude or mean or whatever, or unloving, like in a purely human way, you can be like, oh, like, come on, bro, like you go easy on them or something. But the appeal to like morality or right and wrong doesn't exist. And yeah, so to go from that to, you know, being actually reproached or rebuked or corrected or just spoken to about things was like, oh, like, yeah, I got to change. And I did change. I think that was part of it. Like,
sick.
I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, no, cool. That's I love that. That's awesome. Hello, do you have any thoughts?
I zoned out. No, I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. What do you reckon? We might make this. I don't know how long we've been going for. How long have we been going for, Vinny? 38. Yeah, sick. Let's make this the last question. And unless you come up with something,
I'll cook in the meantime. No, I'm good. I'll cook in the meantime.
What's been your favorite, like most joyful thing about being a Christian? Now that you've been one for a while.
So it'd be hard to pick one. I think there are two things and they're kind of like different things, but they're part of the same thing. I think one is seeing people you minister to grow in faith or grow to have faith. It's quite, like it's probably like, I think most Christians would say this, like it's probably the best thing you get to experience in church. When that kid you've been with at youth group for 5 years wants to get baptized or something, like it's just like, that's
a really cool way.
That to me is like, there's probably nothing better in life than seeing that.
Absolutely.
And I think the reason for that is because you yourself know, like you have been baptized, you have been saved. And so you know what that means for someone. Yeah. And I think like although I was concerned with death and purpose and all this stuff, like in high school and growing up, I think like my life was fairly sheltered in the sense that, I was just a kid going to school. Nothing ever really happened growing up. Like my parents were already divorced, so I never saw the divorce. Like no one in my family died. I didn't go through a war or whatever. I just went to high school. But then as I get older and I experience just adult things in life, like people dying in the family or the breakdown of relationships and worrying about the state of the world and blah, 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 and, work and study and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So tangibly, just noticing the difference that a living faith in Jesus makes is quite remarkable. I guess like one of the more relevant or recent ones that comes to mind is like that, like the first major death in my lifetime, probably not in my family's lifetime, obviously, it was like the death of my grandpa last year. And obviously like difficult, painful, no matter how faithful you are. But I think just like long term, just seeing, this is not to like obviously like detrimental downplay or something, the experiences of my family, but just that the comfort that I have and the ability to recover, I guess, from things because of what I am able to draw from and rely on is so stark, I think. Like it seems to me so stark, like as clear as night and day. And it just makes such a difference. It's just crazy. And it's just real.
Yeah.
And there are so many other things I feel like I could talk about on this question. Just like particularly when dealing with hopelessness or, your self-loathing, like what you do and don't like about yourself and whatever, like the actual experience of grace is what keeps life for me going.
Absolutely.
Like I think I've grown rather quickly in that regard. Like I think faith has become like the cornerstone of life, like the your bulwark or your fortress or whatever. I think that was fairly apparent to me the moment I converted, because worrying about death and mortality and the fleetingness of existence and stuff was a fairly big thing. So when I converted, it was sort of like, it's sweet, that's sorted out. And obviously, it still troubles you when you have problems with it and stuff. Obviously, it's not just.
It's not brushed under the rug.
No,
it's confronted, and so because it's confronted, there's still stuff that's going to come up.
It's not like when you become a Christian, it's sort of like, believe in resurrection and stuff, and that's sick. But it doesn't mean that the growing old, seeing things break and die and go away doesn't become easy. It doesn't go away. But you're able to persist and get through it. And more than just sort of get through it as if like Jesus sort of dragged you through like a obstacle course that you can do nothing about. You actually there is joy amidst it.
Yeah.
Like real joy, lasting joy. Which again, I just don't think is anywhere else in any other religion or offered lifestyle or anything. And I think like when you're young, you do worry that the faith is not as good as these things. Like you're like, Christianity sounds cool, but like I'm so young, like I've got the whole world before me. I can go traveling, I can get the sick job, like I get married and whatever. But the older I get, I think the more convinced you become of it as you look around at people in your life and the world. And you genuinely weigh it up with your knowledge and experience of knowing Jesus. And sort of like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And I think it gets easier in a lot of ways, the older you get. But easier because you're more convinced of it, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool, man. Really, really cool. Did you end up cooking anything?
Yeah, just a thought of, you were talking about how you didn't have like a death or like a major event per se. I think I've heard a lot of people say that as well, and I think I've had a specific person say that like they kind of want like a well, not want, but they haven't had it, and like if they had it, then maybe that would turn them Christian. But like, I think my thought of that is like God's wrath is real, and like challenging that. I mean, if you read the Bible, you can see like throughout that it's a terrible idea. It's like a real scary thing of that's not actually what you need. Like a big event is not what brings majority of Christians to Christ. So I think that's what I was thinking of, that idea of that, one, that people's stories aren't as important or as cool because of the big event or how flashy or cool I guess the story is. Yeah, dramatic. But I think there's also a comfort that it's not big and dramatic.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that God works in both ways.
Absolutely.
And whatever situation he puts you in, he has a way of bringing you to him, which I think is cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I think sometimes people like see all the stories in the Bible and they assume that you must have like a Damascus Road experience, like you're living in sin and it's horrible and you're in the depths of sin and evil and blah blah blah, and then like God flashes before you in this main character moment. But like, yeah, a lot of people are just, I don't know, most of the converts you see after Jesus are just like, even during the time of Jesus, are just people. Just like, do you want to become a Christian? Yeah. And I was like, seems good. And there are those moments, but I think it's more like, in spite of those things, God reveals himself and saves those people. It's not the, you must have that. And I think too, like some people probably assume, maybe they put too much stock in this idea of like, oh, I really need like something to push me and change me. Like, yeah, I would say pretty confidently that the heart can twist and turn whatever it wants to hear and see what it wants.
Yeah, definitely.
And absolutely.
Any event, anything is not going to save you. It's just you and Jesus. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a delightful way to end this podcast. Thank you for joining us, Lewis. I think this was a really cool time to sit and chat and think about like the different angles of your story, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. Do you have anything to say as we wrap up? Any final thoughts or takeaways? No. Cool.
I literally woke up this morning. I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I think we just had a sick conversation. It was really good. That's excellent from a I don't know what I'm talking about.
You can't really prepare for it. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's good.
Now we should just end.
Yeah, sick. No worries.
Keep it short for a change.
Yeah, unreal. Do you have any final takeaways, Hutto? Anything to plug?
No. Oh,
you know how
one
people
thing
like end the podcast and they're like, I'm touring on these dates.
We can do the Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
No, but we do have pins we can give you.
We have pins.
Vinny, do you want to pass that? It's the box to the left, the cardboard box.
Yeah.
Do you just want to
throw us a pin?
Pass that. There's a black. Do you want a yellow or black one? We've been choosing.
Oh, I forget. I got given one at Week Away for my previous one.
Okay, so you can choose again. I don't know if Joel.
But I don't remember what color it was.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
You want to gamble? Which one you reckon?
I want to say I got a yellow one.
All right.
Are you going to
go for the black one?
I'll go for the black one.
Love it. That's a fantastic way to end. Thank you for joining us, Lewis. Thank you for hosting with me, Hutto.
Welcome.
And we'll close like we always close. Wheel my way.